What's going on, guys? It's your boy Neeks back with another preview. Manchester United versus Everton, or Everton versus Manchester United. Of course, the game is at Goodison Park. Listen, I'm not even going to talk about the game right now. Later on in the show, we'll talk about the game, but there's so much more. This game means so much more than just 3 points. I mean, of course, 3 points is the main aim. 3 points is the ultimate goal for this game, but the story, um the news, everything going into this game is more than just this game. And maybe if we're to believe many different reports, this game is inconsequential. Regardless of what happens, decisions about managers have already been made, and that means Solskjaer out, Pochettino in, or as some reports are saying, Solskjaer's here regardless of what happens, because the board and the owners and the hierarchy, they back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer um, to the hill, I guess. They still believe in him, the long-term project, etc. You know, all the little buzzwords and that we've heard over the last few years. And so that means maybe this game doesn't matter. Either way, the decision has been made. So we're going to go into what that decision might be, should be, and where we are as fans, where we think, what we actually think about the possible decision. Before we go any further, smash that like button. I'm gonna be dropping the link to join me into this StreamYard and have a discussion and talk, probably in about 15 minutes. But first, I'm gonna give my take on this whole Ollie in, Ollie out, Woodward in, Woodward out, Glazers in, Glazers out, shake it all about. I'm gonna do that in a quick second. But make sure you all smash the like button. I'm just sending, because I know there's a couple of people who wanted to come on as well. Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Should Ole Gunnar Solskjaer be fired as Manchester United manager? Is his time up? Has he taken us as far as he goes? The first question I think most people want to know, my thoughts on it, my feelings. Am I Ole in or am I Ole out? And I've been saying for weeks, I've been saying for months. I've said it 2 years ago, not necessarily regarding Ole, but as far as Solskjaer goes, I'm not Ole in, but I'm also not Ole out, because those two camps, Ole in and Ole out, for me are very, very toxic. I'll get onto you lot's comments. So keep putting your comments in there. I'll get onto your comments and respond. And I said I'll drop the link in there that you lot can join as well. I'm not Ole in, I'm not Ole out. Two toxic camps. One, I feels or thinks that Ole can do no wrong. When we lose, they will criticize the players, they will criticize the board, they will criticize the owners, and put no level of criticism on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's not just Solskjaer. I've seen it when it was Jose in Brigade, where nothing was his fault. You know, the mood of the players, the form of the players, nothing was Jose's fault. But then you've got the Ole out Brigade, which I'm also not a part of, whose sole purpose and sole reasoning is to pin all the blame for what we're seeing on the pitch on the managers. I say Ole out, he's the current trend. It's the manager out. Now, I don't associate with either of those, because I said I think they are toxic. But I do think the time has come for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to leave Manchester United. And there's a number of reasons why. And it's going to sound very repetitive, because it's something that I spoke about 2 years ago with Jose and 2 years before that with LVG. Yes, Red Devil, I'm going to put the link in the StreamYard in the comments very soon, after I've just given my thoughts on all of this. So stay tuned, and I'll put the link for everyone to join and have their say. Manchester United are in the position they are in. And when I say position, I'm not talking about 15th place or anything like that. Very early in the season. We're not in a relegation zone. Forget all that. We're not a relegation battle, shall I say. But Man United as a club are in the position that we are in because of the people above the manager. It doesn't mean that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is good enough to win us a league. It doesn't mean he's good enough to win us a Champions League. It doesn't mean he can get the best out of these players. It doesn't mean any of that. As a matter of fact, last season, he got much more out of these players than he's getting even now. But maybe he overachieved in terms of his abilities as a coach. Maybe he just hit his ceiling about whether he can continue to motivate them and get even more out. Because going into the season, we know we needed to be better than last season because everyone else had improved. This club, the squad that we currently have, as bad as it is or as imbalanced as it is, more than just the ability of the players, it's better than 15th place. It's better than losing to Crystal Palace, getting battered by Spurs, losing at home, not winning a game at home this season. It's better than that. And that goes down to the managers and it goes, or the manager, and it goes down to the coaches. Of course, you have to put some of the blame on the players because after all, those are the people on the field. Those are the ones delivering or not delivering. Those are the ones who in one game can beat PSG and Leipzig and the next game are getting beat by Demba Ba and a 35-year-old Martin Skrtel. Like that, those are responsibilities of the players, but also of the managers and the coaches. You can't get away from that. We are 15th. We are on a terrible run of form at the start of this season. We are failing in many areas on the pitch. That you have to look at the manager and the coaches and ask, what are you doing? What are you doing with these players? And results like, I said it after the 6-1. A result like that is a sackable offence. Now, of course, we lost 6-1 under Sir Alex Ferguson, but you don't sack Sir Alex Ferguson. This man is our greatest ever manager, the greatest ever manager. You don't sack him. But more often than not, a 6-1 at home is a sackable offence. So one could say he was fortunate to even survive that. I think it would have been a bit of a snap, but it was a bit fortunate to survive that. Then he plays 3 games after or 4 games even, after the international break. Beats Newcastle, beats PSG, draws with Chelsea, beats Leipzig. And you're thinking, all right, let's try and see if we can gain momentum. But the same things that we've been seeing over the last 18 months are the same things that's happened in this little short period after international break. We win some games, maybe games that we don't expect, and we lose and play badly in games that we are expected to win in. That has been the trajectory of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's reign at Manchester United. And you have to say that the results are not good enough. He hasn't won a trophy at Manchester United, something to fall back on, to say, I've done that, give me a chance, I can do that again. All he's done is get third. So purely as results on the pitch, if Solskjaer loses his job, even today, which is obviously not happened, but let's say on the international break, even if he was to beat Everton tomorrow, even if he was to lose his job on the international break, he can't say that he was unlucky based on the results, purely based on the results, because the results so far this season are not good enough for Manchester United or any Manchester United manager. Facts. Facts. If Solskjaer is sacked tomorrow, I'm not going to say, nah, he got done dirty based on the results. But it doesn't mean I'm Ollie out. Doesn't mean I'm Ollie in, but it doesn't mean I'm Ollie out. And the reason why I'm not Ollie out is because every time you hashtag Ollie out or scream Ollie out, as they do, they scream it. They scream it with the exclamation marks at the end. They don't just say, I think it's time for him to go. They say, oh, that was a terrible performance. Ollie out. Every time we do that, and every time Ollie out starts trending, for me, you absolve even the blame and the responsibility of the people above the manager. And this ain't about Ollie, because I've said before, and I'm going to post a video of a clip that was on the Football Terrace yesterday. This isn't about Solskjaer being a legend, because I said the same thing with Jose Mourinho, and he's anything but a Man United legend. I've said it even before this situation with Solskjaer with regards to LVG and Moyes. The position we are in as a club right now is because of how we have been run. That is the thing. Solskjaer's results have not been good enough. But why are we not in a position right now where you can say that this squad is a Premier League winning squad. It's not. Yet the people responsible for building that squad have been here for 7 years. The Glazers, of course, 15 years. And we have yet to put together and build a Premier League winning squad. Who is responsible for that? Because you sacked Moyes, you sacked LVG, you sacked Mourinho, and now you're going to sack Solskjaer. Yet you, the person who has hired all 4 of those managers and subsequently will fire all 4 of those managers, you're still in a job. So if a player can be sold because he's crap, his performances are crap on the pitch, a manager can be sacked because the results are terrible on the pitch or not good enough, why can't you, the person who's selecting 4 managers in 7 years, will be your 5th manager in 7 years? Why are you safe from the sack? Why are you safe from criticism? Because that's what happens. We enter the transfer window and we don't get the player that we want, and we say, Glazers out, Woodward out. Then they get us a player, and we say, okay, maybe they're good enough. All right, let's go. Let's go, manager. Let's win us the title. And then we say Mourinho out. We say LVG out. We say Poch out. And then the transfer window comes again. Glazers out. Woodward out. There's no consistency with what we're actually trying to fight for. We are so reactionary. However, we're fans. Fans are allowed to be reactionary because that's what we're just there with the emotion to support. The problem that we have as Manchester United is that our board is reactionary. I'm going to take it back to 2016, LVG's last season at Manchester United. We were talking to Jose Mourinho months before the end of the season. However, we were telling LVG that your job is safe, don't worry. Your job is safe, don't worry. We won the FA Cup in 2016, and LVG found out after that final that he was out of a job and Mourinho was going to be the next manager. On the same day that he won us the FA Cup. 2018, Ed Woodward gave Jose Mourinho a new contract because to ward off the interest from PSG. After we came second, our highest league finish since Sir Alex Ferguson. The year before we won the Europa League and the League Cup, Mourinho, a proven manager. Mourinho, one of the best managers of his generation, one of the greatest of all time. And in that summer, that Jose said, all right, we got second, but I need more. I need more. This Man City team has got 100 points. I need more. Please, let me get a centre-back. Just give me a centre-back, whether it was Jerome Boateng, whether it was Harry Maguire. There was a lot of names that we were linked to. And Ed Woodward, the banker, the accountant, said to Jose Mourinho, you don't need a centre-back. You've got Phil Jones and Chris Smalling. You already bought Lindelof and Bailly for 30 million, by the way. He didn't want Lindelof, just to put it out there. Who are you? Who are you to tell Jose Mourinho that you don't need a centre-back? You are in no position to tell him that you don't need a centre-back. From a footballing perspective, you are in no position to do that. Yet he did that. And I said it at the time, and many Man United fans said it at the time. Remember, Jose is not a legend. So it's not about us trying to cover the backs of legends. We said at the time, if you're not going to back Jose Mourinho or any manager for that matter, you sack him. Back him or sack him. Back him or that was said so many times during that summer. Back him or sack him. We've heard since then that LVG's come out and spoken about all the targets that he didn't get. I don't even need to tell you about the summer that that David Moyes got in his first year. Fellaini on the deadline day. That was it. But we're giving this owner a pass. We're giving this chief executive a pass and putting the blame all on the manager. Yes, Solskjaer's coaching has not been good enough. Facts. But we are here again. If Solskjaer was the first manager to fail since Fergie, you can put it all on him. But he's not. He's the fourth. He is the fourth manager of different varying levels of success, varying levels of experience, and all of them have failed. So yes, you can say, oh, Jose did this wrong, or LVG did that wrong, and Moyes did this wrong, and Solskjaer did this wrong. But when four managers on the bounce fail, at what point do you look at the people who have hired those managers, who have fired those managers, and are the ones controlling the footballing decisions outside of the tactics? You tell me, at what point can we put the blame on them? I'm doing it already. Let me know when you're on board. Because I'm tired of just saying this manager in, this manager out, this manager in, this manager out. Because in 18 months, if nothing changes with the structure at Manchester United, if nothing changes with the way that we run our football club, I'm talking about negotiations, we are a laughing stock across Europe because of our negotiations. We are a laughing stock. That's nothing to do with the managers. It damn sure ain't nothing to do with LVG and Mourinho, legends of this game. Why is it when we try to go for a target and we don't get a target, we end up getting no one? Why is it that there's not contingency plans in certain positions? We needed desperately a right winger this summer. Jadon Sancho is what we wanted. We've gone into the season and we bought Cavani on deadline day. We bought Cavani on deadline day. Should Oli be 15th with this squad? No way, Jose. No pun intended. No way. But I'm not going to put my energy in trying to get a manager out, knowing, based on history, not a, based on history, historical fact, knowing that the next manager is going to be in the exact same position again, unless things change structurally. So you know what? If you want to get rid of Solskjaer, get rid of Solskjaer. But I want you to tell me, if we get Solskjaer out and Pochettino comes in, what are you expecting? What are you expecting? Because for me personally, under this board and the way we're structured, forget the owners for a second, because it's hard to get them out. Not impossible, but it's hard to get them out. But there's a structure in between the owner and the manager that needs to change. The likes of Ed Woodward and Matt Judge, they have failed us time and time again. I don't trust that any manager can come here and get any level of sustained success. We had Jose Mourinho, and he won 2 trophies in his first year. 3 if you want to count the bloody Community Shield. Came second in his second year, and he wasn't able to bring us proper success. So Pochettino will come in. We'll first get the manager bounce. Cool. His coaching's better. We'll get more out of the players, 100%. We'll go on longer runs of playing good football and getting good results. Why? Because he's a better coach. He's a better manager than Solskjaer, 100%. So was Jose, so was LVG, so was Moyes, let's be honest. But the same thing and the same obstacle that got in the way of those quality managers is the same thing that's going to stop Pochettino. So he may even get us a second. He may get us 82 points, the most points we've ever got since Fergie, because Jose only got 81. But when we need to make that next step to winning a Premier League, to winning a Champions League, are you telling me that after 7 years, you trust this board to do what is necessary to make that step? And it don't mean throwing money, just throwing money at the situation. It's about making proper footballing decisions to take that next step. I don't trust them. If you don't want to trust Solskjaer and his ability to coach, cool, because you got evidence to prove that over the last 18 months. I've got evidence over the last 7 years that this board is incompetent in making footballing decisions. Incompetent. So I'm not trusting them. So I'm not going to waste my energy trying to get a better new manager in so we get a couple years of good football, knowing that at the end, unless we change the structure, everything's going to go to pot. I'm not doing it. You don't want to waste your energy again, like you did 2 years ago, like you did 4 years ago, like you did 6 years ago. Do that. I'm not doing that. So if you want to call me a Ollie sympathizer and you want to call me a I don't know, any excuse, any kind of word you're looking for. If you want to do that, that's up to you. But I know why I say what I say, and it's nothing to do with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's to do with the position of manager at Manchester United, which has been undermined for 7 years. And if we're going to be completely honest, it's 15 years, because Sir Alex Ferguson was failed in the transfer market time and time again. And the only reason we got any level of success under Sir Alex Ferguson is because Sir Alex Ferguson is the greatest manager of all time. We won leagues and Champions League under Sir Alex Ferguson since 2005 in spite of the Glazers. And right now, we are failing at Manchester United because of the Glazers and because of Ed Woodward. So I'm going to hashtag Woodward out, and I'm going to hashtag Glazers out way before I hashtag Ollie out, Jose out, LVG out. But if you're not on that, get your potch out, get it ready, put in your drafts, get it ready, because it's coming. If things don't change structurally, it's coming. We've got a few guys in the chat. I'm going to bring them in just now. Guys, everyone watching, make sure you smash that like button. Let's see. I'm going to get... Oh, we've got a few people. Let's see. You know what? I'm going to bring you all in at one time. We've got Red Devil Studio. What are you saying, bro?
Yeah, you doing okay, Neeks?
Good, I'm good. We have got BK Stinson. What are you saying, bro?
Hey, man, how are you?
I'm good. 40 Talk in the place. Can you hear me, bro? I don't know. We have got Juicy Danger and Transfer Tom. Oh, everyone is coming in. Listen, we're going to bring some people in. We're going to drop some people out. But we're all here right now. If you can mute your mic when you're not talking.
Hey, Neeks.
Yes, bro. What are you saying? If everyone can mute their mic, if I don't do it, I'll do it. I'll mute your mic when you're not talking. I'll bring you in. First and foremost, I'm going to come to Red Devil Studio. Listen. You've heard what I had to say. The situation we're in, Solskjaer is on the brink. That's the talk. If we lose against Everton, apparently this is the end of him. Maybe even if we beat Everton, it might still be the end of him. Because I said after the Istanbul game, I said I don't even think that convincing win against Everton saves Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. What's your thoughts on this whole situation, bro?
I don't know, because a part of me thinks that what happened in Istanbul is unacceptable. Sleeping on it, to be honest, like with a lot of the managers we've had, half of the issue is also with the coach. I argue the other half is also the players. So we go back to example, the first goal that we conceded against Istanbul. I don't really get how people can blame Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for that goal. I play football sometimes regularly, and it's a basic thing that you don't leave a player by themselves on the halfway line unmarked through on goal. That's not something that should be, we've got to remember that a lot of these players are experienced players, so they shouldn't, so for certain things, they shouldn't have to be coddled or educated about. You should just know. If it was Van Dijk or any other sort of thing, you just know to do that. You don't need your manager to tell you to do something. It's so basic. So there is a thing with that where, I don't think the coaching staff is good enough, but I do think as United fans that we overhype or overrate our players. I see a lot of people say, "Oh, this team is good enough to compete for the title. This team is good enough. It's good enough." I'm like, well, if it wasn't good enough for 3 managers, successive managers, then maybe, just maybe, they might not be that good, because to be good is to be consistent. That's why Liverpool have a Champions League. That's why they have a Premier League. It's no good to say just to have a bit of a flash in the pan. Yeah, of course we can have talent. Look at PSG. They've got a lot of high quality players. Great, but do they have the consistency in the Champions League to do? No, they don't. So it's one thing to have talent, but it's another thing to have consistency. And that's where you can have someone like, dare I say, Jordan Henderson, who's probably not the most talented player, but what is he? He's consistent. That has to be the basis first. And unfortunately, our players are not consistent enough. That's why I inevitably think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to get sacked, and that even if Pochettino comes in, because a lot of people still think that Pochettino is going to come in and solve. Yeah, he's a better coach than Ollie. I don't disagree with that.
100%.
But is he going to come and solve things? No, he's not. And if the evidence is looking at what Mourinho is doing with Spurs right now, Mourinho is going to Spurs and is making them look and play good. We'll see what happens. But we should plead that Mourinho doesn't win the league with Spurs, because what that will show was that it wasn't.
Well, you know what? If Jose wins it with Spurs, it just goes to prove exactly what we've been saying. Yeah, exactly. To be honest, that's exactly. I'm going to come back to you, Red Devil, so you stay there. I'm going to come to Juicy Danger next. Yeah, I can hear you, Jerry. But your mic's a bit quiet. But I'm going to come to you in a second. Juicy Danger, I can't unmute your mic. I think you muted it. Can you hear me? If you can, unmute your mic and let me know what your thoughts are on the situation. If not, I'm going to have to kick you out. And you have to come back in because there's a lot of people waiting to come in. No, it doesn't look like he's here. Oh, he's gone. He's gone. All right. 40 Talk. Are you there? Because your camera's moving mad. I don't know what you're doing. Are you there? He ain't there. I'm kicking him. All right. Let's bring in a couple other people. All right.
Yo.
Well, everyone good. Okay. Listen, all right. Who wants to go next? We got what? Brian.
I'll go next if you want.
Whoever. No, let me go. Brian first. What's your thoughts on this whole Ollie in, Ollie out? Where do you stand on it?
Yeah, this is just Manchester United is supposed to be a sporting spectacle to watch when you kind of want to enjoy what footballing at the highest quality looks like. If you just want to pop on a game and watch a really top quality team go about their business, Manchester United is supposed to be with that team. You're supposed to be able to watch and play. And over the past 7 or so years, that has just degraded. The irony of some of the things that I've seen posted on Twitter today have been alarming to me. On the one hand, we're having lots and lots of conversations about whether or not Ollie's good enough, Ollie in, Ollie out. And then today was the 34th anniversary of the appointment of Sir Alex Ferguson, who was in the job for 26 years. And I think it's incredible how being a Manchester United fan has shown me one thing over the last 7 years, and that at this club currently, the managerial position doesn't mean anything. And I think that's a big problem. If the managerial position doesn't have any weight, if the managerial position if the managerial position can take all of the fire, but not run any of the plays, any of the things that need to be taken care of, then maybe Woodward and the Glazers should get down the touchline and give it a shot, since they since they want to do it all themselves. It's just like I have such a hard time with this, because, and I think you said it perfectly earlier, Neeks, that if you are in charge of 3, what possibly will end up being 4 failed managers, at some point you have to look up the chain and to figure out, okay, like what's going on here. And so for me, I'm just having such a hard time with this as a Manchester United fan, because this club is just being run through the mud by people who would rather put forward their own interests and their own ideals over the interests and the needs of the club and its fans. And it's hard for me to even say that and not sound like I'm just being Ollie in. I'm not necessarily Ollie in or Ollie out either. But
that's the thing. It's like people want to put people on one side or the other, and it's not necessarily about that. I have a view that I want what's best for Manchester United, and I also believe that sacking and hiring and sacking managers every 2 years ain't gonna solve us. I know that just based on what's happened the last 7 years. So that's what I'm based on. It's not even about Solskjaer, because I'll say the same thing when Pochettino comes in, and no one can say to me, "Oh, you're just saying that because he's a legend." Because Pochettino ain't no legend. So that's the way I'm looking at it. Let me come to Tom, transfer Tom. What's your thoughts on this? You in the comments saying that Solskjaer has to go? Oh, yeah, Solskjaer has to go, etc. Let me know your whole Ollie in, Ollie out debate.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't suggest that I'm Ollie out, but I'm Ollie indifferent at the moment, because there's so many pros and cons for why he should stay and why he should leave. I don't understand how this guy should still even be here, if I'm being honest. Because if he's not a club legend, he's just a normal manager. He's Massimiliano Allegri, he's Pochettino. You have the start to the season that you do. You have the 6-1 embarrassment that is Spurs. And if he didn't have the PSG and Leipzig results behind him, how can you honestly say that he should still be here? Because the only reason why he's still here is because he's a club legend and he got 3rd place last year. That's the only reason why he's still here.
Well, but I don't think it's to do.
Yeah, go on.
No, so I don't think it's to do with him being a club legend. Like, that might be why fans are more behind him than Mourinho and LVG, for example, even though we still sing Mourinho's name in the terraces to this day. But for me, who makes that decision? Because the fans don't hire and fire managers. So the question is, why is he still here? Why? Because Ed Woodward don't care that he's a legend. Ed Woodward, why is he keeping him?
Just to point this, we've got to remember that Mourinho wasn't sacked until he was at least a good 12, 13 points from 4th. So, like, I get that obviously, the way that we look at the league and the position, for example, is bad, and it is. But from a points point of view, it's nowhere
near. It's nowhere near how it was under Jose. Because if
we were to beat Everton, for example, on the weekend, and then win our game at hand in Burnley, technically we'd only be 3 points from 4th, which is not bad. So although the league, if we to do that, we would still be in like 12th or something place. So I think what I guess I'm saying is that, like,
it looks more desperate than it actually is.
It was sacked because we were literally 4th. I don't know, somewhere between 12 to 15 points from
we were I think we were about 19 points, maybe off the top, and maybe about 12 points off 4th place, sitting in 6th.
No, we were in a higher position than we are now.
Yes.
We were like 9th or 10th or something like that. Whereas we're 15th now, but technically we're only 6 points from 3rd.
So let me ask you, Tom. So, but as it stands, as far as you're concerned, should Solskjaer be sacked after the Everton game, regardless of the result?
He should have already been sacked.
So that's
he should have already been sacked after Istanbul. He should have already been sacked.
I'll come to you in a second, Jerry. Carry on, Tom.
He should have been sacked after Istanbul. I'm sick and tired of this. People can say give him time. 2 years. Are you telling me 2 years is not long enough to change a direction of a club? 2 years. And all I see on the field is, I see when a team wants to come to Old Trafford or we go away, and all we have to do is just play every man in their own half, and you can't do anything. It's been the same thing for 2 years. And people can say, oh, well, it was the same under Mourinho, but we did the exact same. We just sat back and we didn't do anything. This is a man who's been a club legend. And the only thing you can really pinpoint say that you see week in, week out is he can play counter-attacking football. Any manager in the world can play counter-attacking football. Spurs do it under Mourinho. Exactly the same. They can just sit back in the game, and they'll open up and they'll play counter-attack on a team. That is what they do. Like I say, I'm not saying that Pochettino would be the man, because, like you said, there is bigger things that need to happen here. And I've said it on Red Devil Weekly show. I don't believe Ollie is the manager or the coach to win a Premier League title.
Agreed.
I don't think he's a coach or a manager at all. I think he should be a director. He should be a director. He should be a scout.
I said this months ago. I said
he should be a director. He should be a scout.
Because the job that he's doing at Man United as a manager is more, if it maybe say the total, is really a director of football's role.
Yes, he is. Yes.
And the problem, the big problem is that the coaches that he's got around him who are doing the day-to-day work with the team is Mike Phelan, Michael Carrick, and Kieran McKenna, and none of them are elite level coaches.
Exactly.
But Fergie always surrounded himself with the best coaches.
Yeah, and he even changed coaches from
He
time
did.
to
He
time.
always did that. I don't even disagree. I don't disagree that Solskjaer should go based on the results, based on his ability. I don't disagree.
I wouldn't sack him from the club. No, seriously, I wouldn't sack him from. We need a director of football.
Give
him the director of football.
The problem
Give
is
him the director of football.
because he's been the manager. To move him to the director of football is tricky. If you brought him in originally as a director of football and then brought in a Pochettino, that's for me. That's a slightly different. But listen, let me move on to Jerry. And I'm gonna add Samuel to the stream, Arsenal fan, but we'll come.
I'm just gonna go Neeks, and we have a neutral perspective on the stream. I don't want to give no banter.
That's fine. That's fine. We'll come to you in a second. Jerry, you were agreeing with Tom when he said he should have gone after the Istanbul result.
Yeah, he had to. That's because, like, right now, I don't trust the board to keep bringing Poch. I don't trust them. I literally do not trust them at all. Because what if we have the 2 years from under the bus? They're maybe the fifth manager. Fifth. And Cantor's more embarrassing. Jose Mourinho with 3 league titles. And then Ed Woodward said no. Why? Why would you say, let's give him the people he wants, back your manager. And if it doesn't go well, then you can sack him. But if you want to sack him. Like Nick said, sack him if it's not going to go well.
Sack him or back him.
See, the thing is for me,
if you didn't want him.
But you see me, if you're a technical director, for example,
yeah,
you got a football brain, you would have seen from the summer. If you're watching their training, you're watching how everything's at the club, you will see. I know he got us third, but you're like, maybe he's not that good. Let's go and get someone else. But Edward doesn't have that brain. He looks purely league position, how close you are to getting to the Champions League. Remember, that's the only aim. Champions League to get the money. How close are you or how far away? And it's at that moment, then you say, all right, we're going to get rid of him or we're going to keep him. And you can't run a football club like that. I've seen Real Madrid sack managers after winning the La Liga because they're looking at it like, cool, you won, but it's not the direction we want to go in terms of the way you're playing or whatever it might be. We have no direction. So for me, that's the biggest problem. Because if Solskjaer was so bad, they would have sacked him in the summer if he was the problem. But the fact that he's still here, and if we can agree that he's not good enough, why is he in a job in November?
Because the ambition, because this is what people need to understand about this club, is that the ambition, we as United fans have high expectations of United than the board do. As far as the board is concerned, from what I can see, they are happy. That's why I brought the Mourinho 12, 14 point thing in here, is that as long as we're almost like Arsenal away, as long as we get top 4 every year, the Champions League money that comes in, that will be good enough for Manchester United. Yes, they might say they want us to compete for titles, but as long as that's why I generally think that if he wins the Everton game, he's not going to be sacked, because they'll look and go, oh, we're only 3 points from 4. Why would we sack the guy?
And this is the problem. Why is their decision based on a result here and a result there? You should have a clear plan and an idea. The fact that you're already talking to Poch means that you don't believe in Ollie. And the moment that you lose faith in the manager, get rid.
Just
Say that again, Jerry.
Just like happened 2 years ago when it was 3-2 to Newcastle.
Yeah. All the talk before I come back to Samuel, I'm gonna come to you in a second. Before I go back to Brian. Yeah. All the talk before that Newcastle game in 2018 was, if we lose this game, Jose's going to be sacked. We won the game right at the death. Jose kept his job for nearly another month. Like, I don't it's ridiculous. And that's why my energy is on the manager. Because if you've got people at the top who know how to lead the club, then I don't have to worry. I'll be like, well, if the manager's not good enough, they're going to get rid and get the best man for the job. And they're going to back him. And then when it don't work, they're going to get the next man for the job. I don't even know what this board is going to do next. So I can't trust them. Go on, Brian.
Yeah, I was going to say, one of the interesting things that's kind of transpired in the midst of this too, especially amongst Manchester United fans, is just how kind of the toxic energy that surrounds every game. I mean, Manchester United fans are hanging on to every result like it's
the last,
like it's the last, and I mean, and so like losing in Istanbul wasn't a great result, but like Man United have dropped shit performances in the Champions League before against really bad teams, but nobody's batting an eye over it. But because of where we're at right now, everybody is freaking out every time United takes an L. You know what I mean? And it's interesting because there was not this energy when United lost to Arsenal. Like, that didn't exist, you know. But they go to Istanbul and they get beat. Granted, should they have gotten beat? Well, based on how they played, yes. Yeah, they absolutely should have lost. I don't care how good you think the team is or is not based on whether you recognize or can pronounce the name. If they play better than you in the Champions League, you're probably going to take an L. You know what I mean? That's the type of competition it is, and no one really wants to talk about. No one really wants to talk about that type of stuff. Also, with the way that Manchester United have been declining in ability because of the types of players that they've been bringing in, that just brings teams around the world a bit closer to them. That doesn't mean that United can't still beat some of the best. I mean, they beat Leipzig, they beat PSG, but my thing is I want Manchester United fans to just to chill out on, because everything is under a microscope now. Everything's under a microscope now. I mean, from the lineup, from the lineup to you know how the players are performing, to what Solskjaer's doing in the touchline area. like everything's under a microscope, and it's just become so toxic that it's a huge problem now. So for me, I don't think, even based on results, I don't even necessarily think that it's that big of a deal if the fact that Ali's still around, because sometimes you're just going to have bad performances. But
let me just before we do that, Red Devil Studio just needs to go, so I wanted to give you your last word on what you know. Should Solskjaer be sacked? And if he is sacked, what next for Ed Woodward? Does he just hire a new manager and things are rosy, or should he walk as well? What needs to change at Manchester United for us to actually return to the top? That's the real thing. It's not about a result here or a result there. What needs to change for us to return to the top?
Yeah.
To be honest, in an ideal world, I know this isn't going to be popular because people want instant things now. But if you told me that we were going to make an actual educated decision instead of a knee-jerk decision, and the manager availability was at the end of the season, I would generally say, like, literally keep Oli in the job for the end of the season, and then make an actual proper, informed, intelligent. If you're going to say, right, at the end of the season, we're going to get a DOF, we're also going to get a manager, and we're going to build and back, etc. That is what I would like. What I don't want, and what almost going to what BK Simpson always says, that like football fans in general these days are very, very reactionary, and we react to almost every result and stuff, and we don't really think. And even, to be honest, with Jose Mourinho, let's be real, Van Gaal won us the FA Cup in his final season, and we were fifth. We're only about a point.
We were level. We were level on points with Man City in fourth.
Yeah, we were level.
Goal difference that you
and they sacked to show away.
Yeah, just imagine if he'd been backed, you know. But we said, right, we've got to get Mourinho because Pep was coming to City to react to that. So this kind of, we shouldn't be, what I'm saying is that we shouldn't make our managerial, long-term managerial decisions reacting to other teams or our circumstances. We should be thinking about, as you said, a long-term vision. And my fear is that we're going to just get Poch, okay, and then everyone's going to be happy for a bit, and we're going to repeat the same process because it was just a reaction. And like I said, any manager can come in. You don't have to get Poch. You can get Pulis in, and you get a reaction from the players, maybe 10 or something so games. But because there's no long-term vision, there's no long-term direction. The board don't know what they're doing in terms of, are we going, for example, like for a young and up-and-coming like Nagelsmann, or do we go for like a more, you know, a crazy guy like Bielsa, you know? So
Thank you very much for coming on. Make sure you check out the Red Devil Studio on YouTube and on social media. Speaking of Pulis, I'm going to come to I think it's called the Salsa Tony Pulis, Arteta.
The Salsa Tony Pulis.
Neeks, you really went there. After what happened last week, you really went there, Neeks.
Even Tony Pulis done us over a few times. But no, Arsenal fan. I know you're maybe a bit younger, but you would know the history of Arsenal in terms of their ownership and a lot of issues with their owners, Kroenke, with their directors of football, whoever they are in Gazidis, and a lot of the structural changes happened at Arsenal recently. From your perspective, right now, what is the biggest issue at Manchester United? Is it the manager? Is it the board? Is it the players? Is it the owner? What needs to change at Manchester United from an Arsenal fan?
Well, Neeks, clearly, because since Woodward's been in charge, you've had three managers. David Moyes, who was sacked in his first season. Then you had Van Gaal. Yes, we can understand why Van Gaal got sacked. He was back, you could say, in some way, and he was very poor. Well, Jose, I mean, the summer, his final season, where he was this kind of revolt against the Glazers. He demanded Harry Maguire, and he went on press conferences moaning, and after that 3-0 defeat to Tottenham, he said that he went on that rant. And really, he wasn't back that summer. I know he spent 52 million on Fred, but as a club financially strong like Manchester United, Man United are such a big club that is not good enough for Man United. Maybe for Arsenal because we don't have as much money, because we got greedy owners as well. But the Glazers are just as greedy. Now, really, I'm looking at three managers, same old cycle, Neeks, which is Van Gaal gets in, gets top four, following season, doesn't get the backing he wants, finishes outside the top four, gets sacked. Jose Mourinho finishes in the Champions League, second place. Next season, don't delivers in his expectations, he gets sacked. And now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer finishes third, and now he's on really a downward curve, struggling, and he's going to get sacked. Really, there's only one issue, it's same old cycle, it's Ed Woodward and the Glazers. Now, really, Ed Woodward is not someone you see who grew up in football. He grew up more of a financial background, stock marketing, and really is a puppet for the Glazers. And really, I don't think he's a Man United fan. He never grew up being a Man United fan. He had no clue about Man United. He's probably one of those guys in secondary school that, when you talked about football, he was never interested in talking about football. One of those people that just sat there, didn't give a damn about football. But you know what? What I would like to see is, if you want Pochettino, that's a long-term plan. But what if you go by Pochettino's past statements, which said trophies build ego, and for Manchester United that could be concerning because for Manchester United it's all about trophies.
All about trophies.
None of his full placements that you are right now. It's trophies. This is why I like to see Allegri. I know Allegri is not in the long term, but seeing the current terms where the Glazers and United want to see short-term options. And Allegri is a good short-term option to just maybe fill in the glue and win a trophy. Because Allegri has the winning mentality. Because if you look at AC Milan,
I'll pick Poch.
If you look at
I'm going to come to you guys in a second. Carry on.
If you look at the last team, the last man to manage a team in Italy that wasn't Juventus to win Serie A was Allegri with AC Milan. And then really after he left Milan, he went to Juventus. He won title year after year. And yes, he had one season.
All in Italy.
No, but he had competition.
Some league experience, man. You can't just think, someone outside. You need some Premier League experience.
But you need someone with winning experience. No, but Poch doesn't have the winning mentality. Really, if you look at
Poch was not at Spurs, he would have won a trophy. If Poch was not at Spurs, he would have won a trophy.
But if you look at his statements, Tom, if you look at his statements, for Man United, the words he said, trophies through ego, for Manchester United, that's not good enough.
Well,
Let's go by the standards of Manchester United.
You can build from that. You've got to start somewhere and then build up.
I'm not particularly bothered.
One second, Brian. Go on, Tom.
Right, you've got to start from somewhere. So if you want to say, you don't expect a manager to come in to a big club that needs this massive rebuild and win a Champions League. It's not going to happen. It took him 5 years to even get anywhere near the major trophy for Tottenham. So, and we're talking about big projects. I don't get why people still want to back Ollie, because we already know he's not going to win a Premier League or a Champions League. So at some point, somebody's got to take over anyway. So just do it already. It's simple. Pochettino would come in here, he'd put a stamp on, he'd put a system in place so you can see what he's doing. I don't even know what Ollie does, to be honest with you. People can say he's got no tactics or anything. All I see with Ollie is counter-attack. Pochettino would come in here, he'd either play a press game, a possession-based game. He'd assert a style into the team. Then you assert one formation. You could stick with a formation full time. You don't change it. You don't, change systems midway through. You have a plan B in a game where if you need to change a formation, but if not, you stick with one formation.
I think his connection went. No, listen. I think he would be a better. Tom, are you back?
I'm back.
Sorry,
Like
go
I
on,
said,
carry on.
just stick with a formation, because one week we're playing 4-2-3-1, then we're playing a 5 at the back, and it's ridiculous. We look like absolute amateurs. Just stick with one formation. It's not a time to trial. We're in the middle of a season. Pre-season is trialing days. I know we haven't had a pre-season because it's a weird year, but if you want to take a team, if you want somebody out there right now who can improve young players, who would work under the Glaziers and work with Ed Woodward in terms of minimal financial backing, then Pochettino's your guy at any single club. Pochettino would be number one.
You know what I would say, and
Yeah.
I'm not discounting any of Pochettino's credentials as a coach, but his
Mhm.
best success, both at Spurs and at
Southampton.
Tottenham, Southampton. And Spurs, he had Paul Mitchell as the director of football. And you speak to Spurs fans and they're saying, look at the signings that were made when Paul Mitchell was there compared to when Paul Mitchell left, and he had more control over who you could sign and who you couldn't. And this is why it's so important for me that my energy is focused on the structure change at Man United, because Pochettino could come in and we say, oh, he had minimal spend at Spurs, but the important thing is, what kind of players did you buy? What kind of players did you target? Of course, at Spurs, they can't spend on their
Poch with money is scary.
One second.
Poch with money is scary.
But they can't necessarily always get their first target. But even at Manchester United, it's shown already that we can't always get our first target. So we end up going for our second and third. But the question is, who is choosing that second and third target? When you have a director of football, you have your contacts across the globe. You have a proper scouting network on board. And obviously you have better coaches as well to say, well, you know what? We couldn't get Sancho, but let's get this guy whose attributes are similar, but a little bit worse. He's not as good as Sancho, who can go in that position. Like Liverpool did when Klopp wanted the likes of Goetze and Brandt, and they couldn't get them. So they went and got Salah and Mane. When he wanted to get Timo Werner, and then he couldn't get him, so he went and got Jota. Now, of course, Klopp is a far superior coach to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So he has a system in place that those players can now slot in and they can fit in seamlessly. The problem, my issue is, if we don't change this structure with Pochettino, we will miss out. We'll still miss out on first choice and second choice, even with all the money.
Yeah.
And then Ed Wood was going to say, well, you know what? You got Dan James, so just keep it moving. Oh, you know what? You know, we're going to buy a little 18-year-old instead. That's my issue.
Yeah,
and that's why I'm like, that needs to change. Go on, Brian.
That's the thing, is that, like, we are past the stage. We as Manchester United fans need to stop talking in terms as if a manager is going to come in and take the rudder of this ship and steer us towards success. That does not exist with this board. It doesn't exist. I don't care who comes in. If Poch comes in, he may be successful for the first 8-9 months, maybe even a year. But the minute he doesn't get, we've all seen it before. And we've all seen it before. We've all been excited about what's to come. We've been excited about how things ended up. And then we get to a transfer window and it's just a big letdown. And that's even from last season. From last season, United went on a tear and finished in third place. And then the transfer window came and it was a giant letdown. And so for me, it doesn't matter who comes in, because just like Neeks is saying, if we don't change the structure at the top, who gets to make those footballing decisions, then there's not a manager in the world that can fix this club. And that's a reality. And you can't tell me that there is, when we've gone through 3 other ones, one of which was the best of his generation. Yeah. And it didn't work. So don't give me this BS about Poch is going to fix the club, because you're wrong. Because if Mourinho couldn't do it, a guy who is a serial winner, a guy who hasn't won anything, ain't going to do a damn thing. And that's a fact.
One thing I'll say is just more about structure.
One second, guys. I'm going to come to our biz MUC just now. And I'm going to say, I agree. I think what would happen is, what has to happen at Man United, I've heard people say it, this club isn't built for, long-term success. So I just want someone to come in right now, win us something, and then maybe we disappear for the next 5 years because we've got no structure. But my standards for Man United are still where they were. and
Yeah.
when Fergie left. And my standards are long-term success, i.e., challenging year after year. We know we're not going to win the title every year, but you should be in a position where you can challenge every year. And if you have to rebuild your squad, then you have the right people in the right positions to rebuild that squad. What a manager has to do to be successful at Man United. When I talk about success, I'm talking about Premier League, Champions League. That's the only real success that we want. A manager has to effectively take a team from 5th straight to 1st. Because what happens is they'll get into the Champions League, the Glazers will rub their hands and fill their pockets with their dividends, even in a COVID season, and say, well, carry on with the same squad. We're not going to put in more money to take you to the next step. So you effectively take a team that you picked up in 5th, you got them into 4th, and you take that same team and you have to take it into 1st. Now, it's not about spending money, but it's about getting the right players. And additionally, before I come to you, Arbez, additionally, when I say backing a manager, it's not just about how much you spend in the market, but it's also about giving the manager control of what players you want in the squad. I'll give you an example. Jose Mourinho, he wanted to get rid of Paul Pogba and Anthony Martial. Me, I love both of those players. I didn't want to lose them as a fan. But if you are backing your manager and your manager wants to get rid of them, you get rid of those players regardless. And if you don't want to back your manager to do that, then you get rid of your manager because you're already undermining him. Sir Alex Ferguson got rid of better and greater players than Paul Pogba and Anthony Martial. He got rid of Jaap Stam. He got rid of David Beckham. He got rid of Roy Keane.
Yep.
You back your manager on signings and departures, you get rid of him, and that is my biggest issue.
Mourinho had done it for 25
That's why he got himself sacked after Liverpool came in. He got himself sacked.
Mourinho.
What was you saying?
I said that Mourinho got himself sacked after Liverpool game.
But they should have sacked him from the summer because they knew in the summer.
They should have sacked him from the summer.
They knew in the summer he wasn't the guy.
Like
Neeks, you could see it much earlier after the FA Cup final against Chelsea. I think that was the right time. After they lost, because he lost his mojo after that.
I also don't blame Mourinho for the attitude that he had, given the fact that he wasn't properly backed. Yeah. Like if you're gonna sit there and buy the guy some center backs, and then one of them of which he doesn't even want, and then the next season he said, "Hey, like we need to reload and go again. I need another player in this position." And you're gonna tell him no? Like
exactly.
Like
who is qualified to tell him no?
That same thing will happen to Poch.
Neeks, just another one thing about Arsenal. I just want to say about Arsenal is that really Vinay, we have two people as head of football, which is Edu and Vinay. Yeah. So what Edu does is focus on footballing aspects of the club, while Vinay is more financial. So if Edward was going to stay, which he most likely is, I like him to bring someone who has more of a football knowledge, like Edwin van der Sar. While Ed works on really the financial aspect, and then Van der Sar can work on footballing, transfer targets.
Give Ollie director of football, seriously. He'd do a good job because, he took young players like Mason Greenwood from the academy, and you can see he's going to be an amazing player in years to come. He's looked at players when he was at Molde with Erling Haaland. That's another example. He's looked at players with Paul Pogba when he was a young lad at Manchester United, and he worked as a youth coach. Paul Pogba is now a well-renowned midfielder in the world and a World Cup winner. So he's taking players like this. He can't do it on the field. Off the field, he can do it.
I
on
agree.
The field, he can't do it.
I agree. But also, when we talk about, people want the best in class, so we want the best players, the best manager. Oli would be a much better director of football than he is a coach, a manager, whatever you want to call it. However, there's better director of footballs out there, proven director of footballers out there who have contacts already out in Europe. So
that would be such a Manchester United move too. Instead of going after a proper director of football, let's just give it to Ali.
And then if they do that, don't even. The problem is Ed Woodward has too much control. He has too much control at that club. So even if you get a director of football, I want to know, is that director of football, has he got the authority to do his role without intervention from people that ain't got a clue?
One thing I'll say is that Rio Ferdinand is so desperate to become director of football at Man United. Something worse to put up. So if Rio gets that job, I'll be concerned because really, all the scouting this guy would do is go through Twitter. So I want someone like if I was a United fan, I want someone like a Van der Sar, who's proven, understands the values of Man United and has more footballing knowledge instead of spending time on social media. So I would appoint Van der Sar, but Woodward would not want him because really he wants to. Ed Woodward is king at Man United.
What would happen is the director of football will come in and show up the failings that Ed Woodward has been doing for all those years, and he wants to keep that power. I'm going to go through a couple of these comments. Comment here from Charlie Hempenstal says Ollie should have done interim, and then Potts should have been given the job. I think even Potts assumed that was going to happen. And see, for me, this is already.
Should have.
But this is already
right now. I can see that the players are done with him. They're done after that. That last game, players are done. So I can see them losing tomorrow. I can just see.
But this for me is already an issue because remember when Jose Mourinho sacked, they came out with this statement saying, "All right, we're going to go for a thorough recruitment process, and at the end of the season, we are going to hire the manager." So Solskjaer will be here to the end of the season interim. We went on a good run of 3 months, and Ed would have got giddy, realized this was the easy appointment. The fans are happy. I can keep my PR level high.
Why? Because Rio said give him a job. That's why.
Yeah, but a real football brain doesn't listen to outside influence. You judge it based on what you're seeing on the training ground. You judge it, but he doesn't have that knowledge. So he's only doing everything that happens at Man United is purely based on PR and commercial success. And unless that changes, every manager we get is going to fail. But Rio was gassed. Rio's supposed to be gassed. Rio's a fan of Man United. I was gassed. You were gassed. Samuel was probably singing Ollie's at the Wheel. Like, it's a catchy song. Bloody hell, I was singing it. But I'm not the one who has to make the decision. So Ed Woodward is supposed to make a calculated decision, like he said. But time and time again, they make emotional decisions based on where the wind is blowing. And they're like, all right, hire that manager. All right, fire that manager. All right, hire that manager. There's no direction at the club. And when they did that, I even said at the time, even though I was happy, and I said Solskjaer deserved to get the job based on that run. But where is the director of football? I said that at the time. And I also said, why are we even giving the job now? Because it's not like he won all those games and then Barcelona and Real Madrid were in for him. So we had to secure him down to a long-term contract. There was no rush to give him the job. It was the easy way out.
No, there wasn't.
It was the PR.
Yeah,
Neeks, I would say as well, when was the last time the Glazers went to a United game? Because it's been almost 3 years now, the 2018 Cup final, with last time Glazers were present.
Yep.
So they have no clue what's going on at Man United. They don't even know if they're playing on Saturday. They literally don't care about the clubs, and really Ed Woodward doesn't care. All he cares about, Ed Woodward's job, given by the Glazers, is give us bigger money, you get a bigger check. That's what. That's
one second, Tom. Before I come back to you, before I come to you, Brian, are you leaving?
Yeah,
that's fine. Well, what's your last? You got any closing words on everything that we're talking about? What's the message you want to leave the people with?
Thanks for having me on. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to this guy. Neeks knows his stuff. Thanks for having me on. I really hope that some structural things change at the club, so the club can actually start taking more than just baby steps forward. If Poch is the guy who's going to come in, I'm fine with Poch coming in on the base of the results that Ali has failed to get. But I am not holding my breath on Poch lasting more than 2 years. So I hope that everybody who wants Poch so badly right now is kind of ready for this same song and dance. See you guys.
Thank you. Guys, I want to move on to Samuel, you can stay if you want, to Man United Everton preview. But Tom, you wanted to say something quickly.
Yeah, I want to say one last thing. With regards to, people can say, you want a new manager and everything. I'll say this, because the two main people who everybody wants Man United to appoint is either Julian Nagelsmann or Mauricio Pochettino. So I'll say this now. Pochettino went 2 years at Spurs, but nobody. Took him from, top four qualification every year to a Champions League final. And he was very lucky not to have won that year, because I think Spurs, in parts in that game, were very unlucky not to have scored. Very unlucky. And all I'll say is this. Pochettino with money, and if you give him the right backing, he's a very scary thing to think. Because all I'm going to say is this. In that year, Guardiola's Man City was firing. Liverpool, Klopp was, on a buzz. Barcelona were doing quite good then. At the same
Bayern
time,
Munich.
exactly with Real Madrid. Real Madrid were okay at times. Bayern Munich were on the rebuild. So it's a lot harder to have done what he did then than it is now. Now it would be a lot easier to get to a Champions League final because Barcelona are rebuilding, Real Madrid are rebuilding. The only team you can consistently say are going to be there in the Champions League or in their own European bubble is Bayern Munich at the moment. That's the only team you can say. But just on it, you give Pochettino the money and the players that he wants. When he was at Spurs, he wanted players like Fernandes. They bought him the Celso. He wanted players such as he wanted to bring in the young youthful players. Some of the best young talents out there, like Federico Valverde. I know he wanted him. He didn't get him. He didn't get the players that he wants. But if you give him the right structure, the dream partnership for me would be Edwin van der Sar as director of football and Maurizio Pochettino as manager. That is a match made in heaven for me because you've got a director and an official who was a Manchester United player who has done the director's role. All I'll say is this. Oh, God's sake. But all I'll say is this. Give Pochettino the managerial role because he improves players. And if you want to work with a budget, Pochettino will do that to a certain extent. But if you added a director of football into the mix, it just gets even better. And if you give him the money that he wants, then it'll be it'll be implosion into it, I'd say. But all I'll say is this, I think in terms of right now, we just need somebody who can steady the ship. And we already know Ollie's we already know Ollie's not the man who's going to win a Premier League title. So we're going to have to make a change at some point. And the man who everybody wants, which is Pochettino, would probably do a lot better than what Ollie is going to do. And that is a man who is almost like what Klopp did at Dortmund, where he did dethrone Bayern Munich, but he couldn't get them to the Champions League. He's gone to Liverpool, and he's gone the step further. Spurs was never going to work out with Daniel Levy and Poch. Pochettino and the director of football would work.
Yeah. Listen, put it like this. I'll say this before I go into the preview. If, and it'll probably about 15 minutes, if we get Pochettino tomorrow or Sunday or anytime during the international break, I'll be happy that we have a very good manager at our club. But like Brian said, I'm not holding my breath that now we are back. Man United are back. We're going to return to the top. Liverpool, watch out. I'm not doing that.
We'll beat Everton at the weekend. It'll be always at the wheel.
However, I would be much more on board and much more excited. I'm not going to be excited by Poch when we get him. I'm going to be happy. I would be a bit more excited if I heard that we've got Poch and a director of football, a credible director of football. So Edwin
Luis Campos,
Edwin van der Sar, Paul Mitchell. There was another guy that we were linked with, Italian guy. The name slips me right now.
No. Monchi, was it Monchi?
I can't remember now. But
Ralph
these are no, it wasn't Ralph Rad. It's Italian. I think it was an Italian guy.
Was it Monchi?
Oh, Federico.
It might have been. Yeah, it might be Federico something. I can't remember. Anyway, but a credible name out there, Luis Campos, for example. I can say, all right, at least they are trying to move in the right direction. Because getting a good manager means that you're just trying to solve the problem that you've been trying to solve for the last 8 years by doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Now, if you go and get a director of football, it tells me that you're realizing that we can't just get a new manager. We have to change something else structurally. If they don't do that, I have no faith that this is going to work. I hope that I'm wrong. I hope Poch comes in without a director of football and we win 5 Premier Leagues in a row in the Champions League and everyone can sit back and say, Neeks, you are wrong. You don't know anything about football. You're an idiot. And I'll be celebrating with you on the Overtop bus parade while you're telling me you're wrong. I don't care. But I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. Before I go on, so you've been trying to get on for a minute. Before I go on to the Everton versus Man United preview, what's your thoughts on this whole Ollie in, Ollie out?
Oh man, listen, I've been trying to get in, bro. Having the absolute howler, bro. My phone, bad thing. I mean, anyway, all right. So listen, all right. So I'm Ollie in, but I'm not an idiot, innit? Like I know for a fact, like he needs to work on his tactics side of things, coaching. I get that as well. Don't know if he's got the right team to do what he wants to do, which is obviously when he first come in, he wanted to play this athletic, like go at teams, he wanted us to become the most energetic team in the league. I don't feel like he's got those kind of players to do that. Like, if you're going to be relying on fullbacks like Luke Shaw to do that, it ain't. That's not going to happen for Oli. But I do think he deserves a little time, man. Because if you go back from this time last year, we gave ourselves no hope in getting top 4, and he literally overcame that and got us top 4. So I just feel like he needs a little bit of time, man. And I understand, right? Everyone's like against him right now. We are literally looking at relegation if we do not sort ourselves out this weekend. It's mad. It's a mad thing, yeah. But I do believe he deserves a little bit of time, and he just doesn't get no help from the top. And I've been hearing you lot talking about Ed Woodward and the situation. I mean, if we do get Poch in, another thing as well. Go on, who's that?
Sorry. The thing is, yeah, like Oli wanted Grealish and Sancho, and both of them were too overpriced. It was too much money for Grealish because Villa stayed up. Because if they got relegated, they would have gone for Grealish. But Sancho, yeah, I wanted him to come, but it was too much money. Like, it was too much.
Yeah. Carry on, Arbiz.
Yeah. So basically, like, I know like everybody's looking at Poch, and obviously there's a lot of talks on him, but a lot of like Poch's, well, I think his time at Southampton, like that was down to Paul Mitchell and getting a lot of those players in for him, like the likes of was it Alderweireld, he got in there, Mane and co, and obviously he went over to Spurs and he done his thing there, but like I just feel like if he comes into United, it's just going to be the same thing 2 years later. And
that's
the
my
thing
threat.
is, we have a fan base. We have a fan base that literally will not wait. They're not willing to be patient. They demand success.
They expect it to win league straight away. It can't happen like that.
It's not going to happen, literally. So, like, we might as well just wait with Ole and just try something.
I already feel sorry for Poch because I know what's going to happen. He's going to come in, we're going to have a good run. Then we're going to go on a bit of a rocky run, like every manager does. You have a look, and everything's going to come out. You're going to see all the stats about how many Big Six games he hasn't won, all the trophies that he's flopped, semi-finals, finals, this, that, and whatever. You're going to get all of that coming through. And Man United fans, we're so reactionary. We're so sensitive to what other fans say. So Samuel will be there bantering. Look at your manager, can't win a trophy. Arteta's already got 2. He's only been betting much. And we're gonna be like, he's right. We need the manager. Allegri in. Oh yeah. And that's how we're gonna be. I can see it already. And I'm gonna be sitting here like, guys, let's give him time. Or guys, it's not his fault. Where's his director of football? Yes, his tactics might not be this or that or whatever. He sold Pogba, he sold Martial. We didn't replace them. But why didn't we replace them? Because people use it on Oli. Well, he sold his best striker, Lukaku. Yeah. And he tried to buy Haaland. Is it his fault he didn't get Haaland? Like, where's there's no balance in the analysis. So I already feel sorry for Poch. I really do. Like,
Neeks, and also one thing the leaders of the Man United fan base of United hate Glazers have already denounced Pochettino already.
Of course they have, because they are Jose in. They are Jose to the hill, and Jose is a proven winner. Poch is the complete opposite of Jose. Young players, no trophies, but all excitement. Jose is just results, boring football, older players, trophies. So it's like, I don't know.
Because it could be the older fans who really have seen Man United win everything and they want more. So they won't give Poch time, while younger generations like Neeks who understand football now and see that Pochettino deserves time. Something that majority of Man United fans will not see. So you have to back Pochettino. It's going to be a long process. It doesn't take overnight to change the mentality of the club. Like Mikel Arteta and Man United is just a mess. I think it's always a mess every 2 years.
But the thing with Mikel Arteta, of course, he's done a good job since he's been there. But things at Arsenal changed. Even when Wenger was there, they started trying to look at the structure above Wenger. And they got it wrong a bit. And they got rid... Well, they got it wrong. They tried it, got rid of some people. I think Raul Sanelli, for example. And then they brought in other people. So they were already looking to change the structure in preparation for getting rid of Wenger. And then that means when Emery comes... Then if that don't work, then you get another manager because the structure's already there. We're just like new manager, but let's not change anything behind the scenes. But we've got to move on to to the preview. Have hope. Make sure you go and subscribe. Actually, don't subscribe to his channel. He's an idiot. No, no, big up HH.
How could he hit on Rashford so much?
I know. Is he getting sacked this Christmas? Yes or no? He's getting sacked before Christmas, so you have to look for
next week.
Yeah, exactly. Look for a different present. That ain't gonna be a present. Yeah. All right. Listen, Man United, Everton. Now, all right? Tom, I'm gonna come to you first. What lineup do you want to see out there? I mean, maybe it doesn't matter because we're just so bad at the moment. But what players, what formation do you want to see? I've got my idea. I'll bring up my team in a second, but I just want to get what everyone's feeling. Who do you want to see out there? Who should be dropped, etc.?
Maguire. Maguire. I don't want to see Maguire in this team. I don't want to see him in this team. I'm sick and tired of it. Put Tuanzebe in there. Tuanzebe and Lindelof. I think that works for the game at the weekend. I can't trust this guy anymore, Maguire. Honestly, in terms of you could say he's the captain, so he's got to be on the field. Even in terms of captain responsibilities, leadership, organisation, I don't see him doing anything. I see the person
he's not
in front of him. Do a lot more. Bruno Fernandes does a lot more in terms of leadership and captaincy than Harry Maguire does. It's so easy to see. I don't know why this guy is the captain, to be honest. So, yeah, I want to see De Gea in there. I want to see. I'd love to see Tellez. I don't know if he'll be.
He's training. He's back training.
Yeah, I'd love to see him in this team, but obviously I don't think it will be. And if not, then it'll be Shaw. Tuanzebe, Lindelof for me, and Wan-Bissaka as back. I'd play back four. I'd play. To be honest with you, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to be honest. Fernandes has not been that good from the start of this season till now. He's not been good. But one thing that I'll defend is this. Hold on. Pogba and Van der Beek seems to work to a certain extent, but Fernandes, Pogba, the whole hype around that I don't think that works. But when we played the Leipzig game, because we played Leipzig off the park, and Nagelsmann's the wonder boy and everything. Who was the one player that was missing in that midfield? Fernandes. Fernandes was the one player missing in that midfield. It was Van der Beek and Pogba in the midfield, and they ran the show.
But remember, it was him who came on and got like a couple of assists, I think it was, isn't it?
I understand that. Yeah.
Wow.
Specific games need specific players. Van der Beek is a running like hype player in midfield cycle. He's not one of these players who's going to shoot from 40 yards and get you off the edge of your seat. He's a workhorse in midfield. That's the kind of player that he is. We need that at the weekend because Decore is the exact same. Alan is defensive, and then you have James Rodriguez who can just go and start off and do what he wants. That is Everton's midfield to a T. So all I'm going to say is this: you can get. I don't think it's a case of getting the attackers right at the weekend because we've got enough firepower in any player who we play in the front line to win games. You've got to get the defensive shape, the formation, and you've got to get.
So what formation? What formation would you go with?
To be honest, Neeks, I'd play any that just have a four at the back. But have a four at the back.
And which midfielder? Which midfielder? So you got Van der Beek.
I'd play Van der Beek. I'd play Pogba, and I'd play Fred at the weekend.
Okay.
I'd have Fernandes coming off the bench. If you need creativity, have him coming off the bench.
The front three.
I would have. To be honest with you, I'd play Cavani.
Martial's back.
I would play Cavani. I'd play Cavani. I'd play Martial off of the left, and I'd play Rashford off the right. And I'd use Greenwood as the impact sub. That's what I would do.
Fair enough.
They wouldn't expect Martial playing out left. They wouldn't expect that at all. Cavani, if you put the crosses in for Cavani, he'll score. That's all I'll say.
Let me come to our biz. What kind of lineup are you want to see? Who should be dropped or who should come in for this game?
Well, if Tellez is fit, I'm going for a back five. So Tellez, Shaw, Maguire, Lindelof, and obviously AWB. Obviously De Gea in goal. Midfield, I'm gonna do Fred, Matic, and Van der Beek, and then up front I'm gonna have Rashford and Martial.
We're missing back five. Okay, yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. That makes sense. Jerry.
De Gea in goal, left back Shaw. Taylor just came back, so I can't start him. Right back, Wan-Bissaka. Centre back will be Lindelof and Twanzebe. The diamond will be Pogba, Van de Beek, Fred, and Pogba, Van de Beek, Fred, and maybe better.
That's very
Matic.
attacking.
Yeah, and the front two will be Cavani and Martial. No,
Very
Cavani and
attacking.
Rashford.
Okay, come on. So drop in Martial.
Yeah, we'll have to because he's now form.
Well, yeah, he scored against Istanbul. I know he's had a slow start to the season because obviously he got his red card in the Spurs game. But for me, I would bring back him. I think we really struggled without him against Arsenal. Being able to hold up the ball. And I'm not saying Cavani can't, but it's not his game is much more running behind, as is Rashford. Greenwood isn't that kind of striker yet. So me personally, I would have. But I'll bring up my team now. So this is the team I've gone with. Now, I will go with 4. Arbis, who did you have as your 3 centre backs?
My 3 centre backs was Shaw, Maguire, and Lindelof.
Okay, so Shaw is the left centre back. Yeah, that's fair enough. When you got back 4, or you got back 5, I don't mind. Yeah, I can hear you. I don't mind Shaw as a left centre back when we play the 3. But yeah, I would go with this. And there's a few changes that can make. Like Lindelof could be in for Maguire, of course. Twanzebe was shaky against Istanbul, but I like him. I think he's got all the attributes. And for me, it's all about balance. It's about when you have a centre back partnership. You don't want 2 defenders who do the same job. One has to complement the other. And Twanzebe complements Maguire for me in terms of his pace and his athleticism. And Maguire's got the aerial ability. My problem is if you have Lindelof and Twanzebe, who is the aerial threat or the in the defense if you need to head the balls out. Twanzebe can head the ball, yes, but none of them are as aerial threats for me like a Maguire. So I would still keep him. He wouldn't be my captain if I was a manager, but it is what it is. Wan-Bissaka, of course, and I would bring in Telles. Of course, I know he hasn't played, but when you're playing this diamond, which we've seen the last couple of games, it lacks width, and the attacking width that Wan-Bissaka and Shaw gives us is not enough. It's nowhere near enough. Telles gives that in abundance, like we saw in the 3 at the back when we played against PSG. So I would have him. I would do this in this game and allow him to bomb on. Now, in that diamond, Matic for me is in the holding position. He should start. He should play in that position. Fred has to play in either the right hand side or the left hand side of that midfield diamond, because him playing at the base like he did against was it Arsenal? Yeah, it was Arsenal. He was terrible. But I don't blame him because that's not his position. He can't pass. He doesn't have. I say can't pass. He's not a great passer. He doesn't have the discipline to just shield the defense because that's not his game. He likes to engage. He likes to harry and hustle opponents. And I think when he's playing in a bit higher up, he can do that. So I want to see him in his best position. If you have to play McTominay, you bring in McTominay straight into the Matic position. You don't move Fred to accommodate McTominay on the right because his positional play was so bad against Arsenal. He kept coming back to what is his base position as a defensive midfielder or a central midfielder. He couldn't hold his position out on the right.
Yeah,
he could have Fred on the left.
Just want to say one thing, that if you do get a result against Everton with a back 3, do you see Ollie sticking with that until the end of his reign?
No. Right now we've got so many players that I just see him chopping and changing, which isn't always great to be fair, but depending on the opposition. Back 3 can work in some games, but it's not going to work in all of them. We don't have enough players in enough positions. Midfield is cool, but we've only got one attacking fullback in Telles. Now you're playing a back 3, you need a wing backs. Wan-Bissaka's not that. Luke Shaw's not that. Brandon Williams maybe could be, but we're really lacking in those areas to consistently play a back 3. Whereas, and obviously you can try and change players, but Arsenal, for example, you've got Ainsley Maitland-Niles, who's a midfielder, but he's played at fullback since he's come to the senior team. You've got Saka, who's played there. Then you've got Tierney, who is a fullback, an attacking one as well. You've got Bellerin, who's, attack is, To be fair, he's not that great
Average,
anymore.
and just
But
defending.
attack was always generally better than defense. So you've got the players. Even Kolasinac, who ain't great, but no, he's not. But his attributes lend to that of a wing back rather than a fullback.
You
We
even
just
got
don't have the players.
Cedric as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we just don't have the personnel to consistently play one formation. Because even if we play this one, we couldn't play this all season because we got 6 midfielders for 4 positions, but we've only got 1 natural defensive midfielder in Matic, and he's the oldest one there, and he can't play every game. So we couldn't even play this formation week in, week out, especially in this season where it's 2 games a week. So I can see him chopping and changing consistently. But I want to see a formation where we've got 2 strikers because we have 4 strikers to choose from. If you only play 1 through the middle, and I think all of these strikers, other than Cavani, who can play as a lone man, all of them play much better when they've got another striker very close to them. So I want to see a formation where you have 2 up front. Bruno Fernandes can be dropped. I don't mind Pogba coming in, but I want to see Van der Beek in that number 10. He played well against Leipzig. He wasn't excited. Everyone wants to see, brilliant flicks and tricks, but he was very clever with the ball. He didn't lose the ball. Against Arsenal, he was... Wait, who? No, he didn't. Did he start against Arsenal?
Yeah, he did. He did start.
Van der Beek.
No, he did start against Arsenal. Van der Beek was on the bench.
No,
Van der Beek was on the bench. Okay, he came on. Oh, sorry, he started against Istanbul. And he should never have been subbed off. He should never have been subbed off. Bruno should have been subbed off. I want to see Van der Beek start. I don't know if he will. Probably not. But one of Bruno or Pogba, not both of them.
And why? And last game, why did he take Twanzebe up at McTominay? What? What is he doing?
Well, Twanzebe had to come off because he was struggling and he was on a yellow card. That's the thing. So he was gonna, that's why he took him off. Well, he said afterwards that Lindelof had a little back issue. He might have just been covering himself. I don't know. But he brought him McTominay. But I want to see Twanzebe start. It wasn't a great game against Istanbul, but then who had a good game? Are you going to drop everyone? I think Solskjaer does like Twanzebe. When we brought in Maguire, his plan was to play Twanzebe with Maguire, and he got that long injury, and he's having to come back from that. But that's what I want to see as my lineup. A few changes here and there, but Martial for me comes straight back in.
Hey, Neeks, you know something, yeah? Hey, Neeks, you know something? I was talking to my mate who's an Aston Villa fan, and he was saying a lot of my mate was an Aston Villa fan. He's talking about Twanzebe from last season before when he was on loan, and he was saying, I don't know, every time Twanzebe was getting attacked at, he felt nervous. So I feel like for him, he'd be better in a back 3, just so he's got a bit of cover around him. Because I don't know if to throw him in at the deep end with 2 at the back, especially with Maguire as well, who's not gonna recover him if Maguire gets outpaced.
Maybe, and that's a problem.
That's why I went for a back.
A lot of our defenders were saying, "Are they best in the back 3?" Maybe they're just not good enough, because if you got all defenders that have to play in a back 3, then as individuals, are they good enough? Go on, Jared.
If Poch comes in, do you see him changing the formation?
Poch will go to a 4-2-3-1. I think that's what he played at Spurs. And what he would do actually, which is funny, he'll probably go with Fred and McTominay as his defensive midfielders, and everyone's going to be fuming. Why is he not? But that's what I could see him doing. I know we've got a lot of attacking midfielders, but you can't just play all your best players and say, this ain't FIFA. Like, you have to have a proper balance. And Pogba, Bruno, Van der Beek is a pipe dream. Those 3 should not be starting any game. Should never happen. We'll get destroyed. So I could see him going to a 4-2-3-1. But he likes flying fullbacks, and we haven't got that. So
if Dalla was still here, then you would have used him more than
he's on loan. He's on loan, so he's still our player. If he comes in before we agree a permanent deal with AC Milan, then he might say, "No, don't get rid of him. Keep bringing him back." I don't know. What are you gonna say, Samuel?
One thing I'll see is that Man United have interest in Koundé. I mean, maybe if Poch could bring him in, maybe a new centre back. But also, do you see him bringing an ex-Tottenham player like Alderweireld in, or someone like a Harry Winks in? One of his favourites.
How old is Alderweireld?
He's 31. But you know what? Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if he brings in someone from Tottenham.
Dele Alli?
Eric
Yeah, it
Dyer.
wouldn't surprise me as well. Dele Alli came in as well, really.
Ow.
Because
And the beat. We have
Go on,
Van de
Samuel,
Beek
go on,
and
just
Samuel.
Bruno
Alderweireld
Alvarez.
at 32 years old is an upgrade for what
I
you've got.
would take Alderweireld, but I can't see Mourinho selling him. Dele Alli is struggling at Spurs, so if a right offer came in, I could see him selling. However, we have got Bruno Fernandes, Van der Beek, Paul Pogba. Like, we're gonna get by another central attacking midfielder, support striker. Like, it's just we need wingers. We need wingers like oxygen. That's what we.
And I've heard that about Dembele. He might come in January. That's what it said.
But I heard United's medical team. Imagine Dembele with them.
Wait, which Dembele are you talking about?
Usman
Mustafa?
Dembele.
Usman Dembele.
Usman.
Or
The
the
Barcelona one. He
Dembele
might come in
United's
January.
medical team. That combination is not going to be good.
Kane and Son. Yeah, we'll take them both. Thank you very much. Say goodbye to
Russian Martial.
They can finally play for a big club.
Listen, if we got Kane and Son, I'm putting Son on the left, Kane through the middle, Rashford on the right, and Marshall off the bench. You know?
The Martial going on the common Neeks. You got to be careful.
You know, and it's the last thing we're going to end here because it's been probably half an hour longer than I expected. But what's going to happen is he's going to come in when he does, whenever it is, whether it's next week, the week after, Christmas, end of season. Solskjaer will not be here at the end for the start of next season. That's a guarantee. It could be tomorrow. It could be next month. We don't know. But he's going to come in with his own plans. And there's going to be certain players that are fan favorites that are not going to fit Pochettino's system and tactics. And I'm up for it because I respect the position of a manager and what a manager wants to do. But there's going to be a lot of fans who are calling for Pochettino, who are then going to be calling for Pochettino's head when he wants to get rid of Martial and Pogba and I don't know Rashford and I don't know could be whatever player, Fred,
Maguire.
Well, Maguire, yeah. Listen, but obviously, and he's a good manager, so he's going to see quality players. But it might just be one, it might be two. There's going to be players and decisions that he makes that we're not going to be happy with because no manager, you can't please everyone. What I want to see in the starting lineup is not what you're going to want to see. But the question is, do we have the patience and the stomach to allow the manager the time to actually get it right? So far, it's proved that we don't, and unfortunately, it's going to be the downfall of this club because we don't back a manager right to the end. We pull out halfway, we say enough's enough, and then we wait 6 months before we sack him. Nothing is done decisively. It's all roundabout way until we get a proper director of football, a real direction of this club where we actually want to be in what time frame. Then I'll see you lot in 18 months back on this stream. I'll send you the link. And we'll be talking about Poch out and Allegri in or Nagelsmann in, unfortunately.
Listen, Neeks, I think you're the only United fan that can see through this and see it's going to take time. Well, the majority of United fans are just going to call for his head straight away. If he makes one mistake, they're saying, oh, look at him. Sort of like we have a fan in Arsenal, when things don't go right, he starts to moan a lot. So, but United, that's times 100. That's times 100 at United. Right. So they don't really look at the bigger picture.
Even if we won the league with Poch, the next year when we're not challenging, they're gonna be on him again. Why can't you win 2 in a row? Why can't you win?
Remember when we had Mourinho, yeah? Like his first year, we won 2 trophies.
Just like
his first year they backed him. No, listen. His first year they backed him and he won 3 trophies. The second year they backed him again, and then when you win nothing that year, they didn't back him. So it's not about winning trophies. I have to win trophy to back him.
But we the first year we finished 6th, won the Europa League Cup, and the Community Shield, whatever. But the next year, so they backed him. He got 2nd. So that's still progression. You moved from 6th to 2nd. Yes, we didn't win a trophy, cool, but we are moving closer towards winning the title. Why are they not going again and saying, all right, here's who do you want? We're nearly there. Who do you want? When Pep Guardiola wants another right back, even though he's bought 530 already, they go and get him another right back. They go and get him another left back. They go and get him another defender. They get him what he wants. We are the richest club in this country, the 3rd richest in the world, and we're pulling purse strings because we've got Rojo, Jones, and Smalling. It's an absolute disgrace. And as I said, I feel sorry for Pochettino as he walks into this mess. But I hope that the mess is not going to be here by the time he comes in and things are going to change at this club, because that's the only way I see any long-term success. But I'm going to thank you, Jerry, Arbiz, Samuel, everyone else who came on, Red Devil Studio, Tom. Who else did we have? I think Brian, yeah. 40 Live was trying to come in, but his connection was bad. Yeah, I mentioned Tom. Well, yeah, big up everyone. Make sure you smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you lot soon.